With property valuation letters going out, I thought I'd make a quick video to explain how land valuations work and how it affects your taxes. How homes are valued. It's based on a lot of different things, but the primary things are the age of your home, the condition, how many square feet it is, and the last 3 years of sales in that area. Now that the area that we're talking about, we're not comparing homes that are sold in a village of 200 to homes that are sold in a city of 12,000. We're also not comparing rural homes that are in a remote area to rural homes that are close to a municipality. We're trying to stay within the same geographical area with those last 3 years of sales. How ag land is valued. Is it irrigated? Is it dry land? Is it grassland? What soil type? There's different classes of soil type, and then what percent of that soil type makes up that parcel. It also is based on the last 3 years of sales and is valued at 75% of the value. Now they do give a range that we are allowed to be within. It's 69 to 75%. And I believe that Gage County is right at about 71%. What can you do if you don't think that your value is correct? You have 30 days to file a protest. Now, what I want to do is show you some good things to have if you want to file a protest to make sure that you are successful in the equalization process. So, for example, I found 2 homes here, both built in 1920. One's average plus. They're both about the same size. The home values are a little bit different. Your dollars per square foot. One is at $79, one is at $86. Now that's comparable because one has an average condition and one is an average plus. Now I made up a home here. Let's say it's a mile away from those homes of where you would want to file a protest. So let's say we have a home that's built in 1919. The condition is an average, about the same size, but the home is valued at $284,000, which puts that price per square foot at $114. Now it's very similar in age. It has also an average condition to that first one, valued at $79 per square foot. So I would want to protest saying that I found a home that is similar to mine, valued at less, and then you would multiply that out, $79 per square foot, and the square foot that we have showing a value of $197,000 instead of $284,000. A lot of times this can be worked out with the people in the assessor's office. They're very good when it comes to showing the paperwork for the home and what is assessed and what causes it to be in that condition. They're more than willing to work with you if you say have a unfinished basement instead of a finished basement. That could change the condition of your home. That's something that is very easy to have a conversation with, and they're more than happy to work through why things are valued the way they are. The equalization process is used to ensure the property is assessed fairly across the county. It compares assessed values to recent sales and makes adjustment if the county's values are too high or too low, so no one pays more or less than their fair share. Here is a chart of the last 10 years of values, budgets, and levies in Gage County. I've also included the CPI values. That's a national level. But it shows how much products have increased from year to year. CPI is the Consumer Price Index. You'll also see from 2018 to 2022, we had the Beatrice 6 payments. So you see a very steep increase in the overall percent change, and then it decreases at the very end there. And as you can see in the CPI, we see where COVID hit in 2020 and how prices of things have increased 4.7% and 8%. So that's important when we look at how the overall budget is set and how that affects our overall budget. I wanted to show you how we set our levy based on the total valuation. So in 2024, our total valuation across the entire county was $4.2 billion. We had a budget of $11.2 million. And to get the levy, what we do is a levy is based on every $100 of value. So you take that $4.2 billion, you divide it by $100, and you get 42 million. Then you take that $11.2 million budget, divide it by 42 million, and it gets our about 27-cent levy. Now, I wanted to also point out with this chart, if we take the 2017 budget at 8.6 million and only adjust it for the inflation using the CPI to remove the Beatrice 6 influence in the charts, it would be 0.5% more than our actual budget is today. This shows that Gage County has kept the budget aligned with inflation and tried to avoid unnecessary growth. Now I want to show you how valuations and levies work to create that tax asking. You want the value of your land to increase. It's an investment. But remember, it is not just your valuation that determines your taxes. It's the levy that is set by your elected local authorities. If property values rise equally across the board and a budget stays the same, your taxes shouldn't increase as long as the levy is adjusted accordingly. Equalization ensures fairness, but it's local budgeting that ultimately impacts what you pay. So I want to show you an example of how this works. The 2024 budget was $11.2 million with that almost 27-cent levy, with a total land value at $4.2 billion. So in 2025, our estimated total land value is looking at $4.5 billion. It's a 7.28% increase. Now, for ease of math and to show you how levies can affect this, we're going to say that our budget is going to increase 0%. We're going to maintain that $11.2 million. To maintain the current budget and with the increase in the land value of that 7.28%, the levy would have to decrease from about 27 cents to about 25 cents. And that's something that is done at your local elected boards. So just because your valuation increases does not always directly correlate to how much your taxes are going to increase. That is going to be based on the levy and whether or not your local taxing and authorities are doing their job and looking at the budget and trying to be fiscally responsible with those funds. Now, I'd like to note that this last year's consumer price index, CPI, is 2.5%. So actual budget increases may be closer to that, but for simplicity and to clearly show how levies impact your taxes more than valuations, we used a 0% budget increase in this example. To help pull this whole concept together between the budget, property values, and levies, I created a pie analogy. So the budget you would think of as the pie. The pie is the elected officials' vote to increase, decrease, or maintain this number based on its needs to operate. Property values. Who shares that pie? Your home's value determines how big your slice is. If everyone's values rise equally, then the slices stay even. Levies. How much does your slice cost? The levy determines how much of the budget you pay. A lower levy is needed if values rise and the budget stays flat. Now, don't forget the CPI, which would be your rising ingredient costs. Just like pie costs more to bake when flour and sugar prices rise, local budgets may increase when the cost of services, measured by the Consumer Price Index, goes up. Now, there are different taxing authorities that set levies that contribute to the amount that you pay in taxes based on your land valuations. Those are county, school, municipality, ESU, SEC, NRD, fire department, township, ag society, and historical society. Multiple taxing authorities set levies. Schools typically make up about 60% of your total property tax bill. Counties, cities, fire districts, and others contribute. Each levy affects what you pay, and you can view a full breakdown on the GWorks website based on your property's location, gage.gworks.com. Now, I just want to give you a quick update on the property reevaluation, why it's needed. Past reevaluations applied broad percentage increases that didn't reflect real market changes, causing unfair assessments. For example, we had $1 million new homes that were being assessed at about $500,000, while homes that were assessed at about $60,000 selling for $160,000. So what we were trying to do is a full countywide review to ensure fairness and accuracy. What we've completed so far are all towns, villages, and the rural north half of the county. In the next year, we're going to be completing the city of Beatrice and the rural south half of the county. Now, as all things are working quickly and trying to get it all into one place, there's going to be glitches. There's going to be issues. A little bit of patience, some communication, call the assessor's office and work through it with them. If you see something that is really wrong and you can show that it should not be that way, they're willing to have that conversation. Fair taxes start with fair values. By bringing all properties in line with the market, we are working to ensure everyone pays their fair share. No more, no less.